This morning, investigations are underway to determine the cause of a child's death in Limpopo's Relela Village. 3-year-old Tsepi Makgopa was found dead in a car belonging to a local businessman. The community set fire to the man's house, cars and business as they believed he had kidnapped Makgopa and 2 other children for muti. The incident has further incited residents in a town that has been hit by a spate of violent protests since the weekend. Our reporter Narissa Subramoney is in Relela. She joins us on the line now. Good morning, Narissa. Some idea of what the mood in the village is this morning? Hi, Narissa, can you hear me?
Hi, Eureka. The line's really bad, but I'll try.
Just give us an idea or a sense of what the mood in Relela is this morning.
Well, it's all calm this morning. There have been patrols throughout the night, and 5 people were arrested in connection with burning the businessman's property and his cars, as well as his home. And I know the family had been taken away from the area for safety purposes.
Narissa, what do we know about this businessman? I mean, if he is a suspect in any way, especially on the part of the community in this child's death, do we know if he has any other record or any other criminal record or anything to do with children in the past?
As far as we know, there isn't a prior criminal record, but of course that will be established as the court case takes place, and then we'll have a better idea of who he is. I've also heard reports that one of the children in the car may have been his, but the circumstances under which those children were playing in his car are very suspicious because he can't answer how they got there. He says he was not around when the children were playing, but how could they have been unsupervised near his car? These are the kind of questions that are coming up, and we're hoping that once the 2 little girls who are also in the car are well enough to talk and explain to police what had actually happened, perhaps this might paint a picture about that day and what happened. But the reason for the community's anger behind this is because of the first death that actually started these protests, which was the death of the young lady, and her arms were cut off. And the community suspects that this could have been either a ritual killing or a muti killing, and this is in relation to the acquisition of wealth. So this is one of the reasons for the community's temper around this reason, and they've probably, most possibly jumped to the conclusion, whether prematurely or not, I can't tell you, but they probably jumped to the conclusion that this man might have been kidnapping the children for muti, and that's why they had retaliated and turned on him and set fire to his property. But just as the flames went up, there was a team from police safety that was there to try and put out the fire, as well as get the man and his family out of a clearly volatile situation.
Narissa, we know that there's so many issues that this community is dealing with at the moment. Like you say, the death of this toddler, the death of the young woman, and then we had the teenager who was killed in that protest as well. What is top of mind here for the community at this point? Which issue is making them even angrier?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, the reason what sparked the protest was that police had released 3 murder suspects in connection with the first murder. So that gave way to the first protest. And this 15-year-old boy, from what I understand from the reports, he had been running an errand for his grandmother, and he was just caught in the crossfire. And this is now coming down to the heavy-handedness of police. And everybody knows the story of Marikana. So these are the things that play in people's minds when police come out to do their job and try and uphold their mandate of safety and security. And this is also the reason why Ria Pierre defended their actions when they did open fire on 2 protesters who had been part of a group that had stormed the police station. And she said nowhere in the world does this happen, and the officers feared for their lives, and that's why they retaliated. So right now, it's absolutely clear. This is a service delivery protest of a different kind. This is directed at the police about why they haven't solved the murder of this young woman yet. And also the issue of her burial also remains, because the community says she cannot be buried without her body parts. They certainly don't want that. And the police haven't been able to answer any questions about who's the murder suspect connected to this woman, where are her arms. They don't have these kind of questions. I mean, even the motive, when I tried to get an answer from Ria Pierre about the motive, because it didn't appear to be theft. Her cell phone and her keys were placed on her chest. So if this was theft, her cell phone would have certainly been taken. They had the house keys. They could have raided our house, but none of this was done. So there's definitely another motive at play here, but it just seems to be a mystery that maybe the police haven't been able to crack yet, or perhaps they do have information which they're not sharing with the media just yet because they want to catch the criminal, because they don't want that kind of information in the public domain. It's anyone's guess, really.
All right, Narissa, very quickly for us, what are we expecting to happen today?
Well, today, the relations, even though there's more police officers that had come in from Mpumalanga, we've definitely seen beefed up security here, but we don't know how the community is going to react to this. And the protests have given way to a spate of violent lootings and arson, which are not necessarily related to the protest. This just appears to be criminal elements who have taken advantage of the situation. So at this point in time, when we get there, we'll see what's the community's perception and what's their anger levels at, but I doubt it's going to be any different. This woman's arms are still nowhere to be seen. The police don't have the answers that they want.
Know more about your world. eNCA.com